Something to prove. We came from the bottom, now we at the tippy top. All we got. But we keeping it hot. Ain't no time to stop. Still we having fun. Ain't no holding our tongue. Go get us on the team and we getting it done. Shout out to Travell, girl. You know. It started with a dream that turned into a vision. I educated new generations is our mission. Ears to the streets, yeah, we steady politicking. If you ain't about to change, mind your business.
Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top pics like we all up on the gram with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. Now wait again, minute. Wave your hands with it. We top pics like we all up on the gram with it.
Yo, what up? This your boy Super K from Super Sound Lounge, rocking with your favorite podcast, Wait Again a Minute, listed on all platforms, iTunes, Google Play, Tidal, Spotify. Y'all already know the vibe. Tune in.
Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Wait a Gam Minute. Tonight is March the 3rd, 2022. And tonight's episode is about Fatherless. Our special guest is Juan Gambrell, who is the brother of Miss Gam herself. Tonight they'll be talking about fatherless children. So, how was your day today, Juan?
It was a little busy, but nothing unusual. How about yourself?
It was good. My day was good so far. So, Gam, how has your day been?
My day was good. It was a little stressful about an hour ago. I thought I was gonna lose it for a minute, but God came right on in for the landing.
Sure did.
But other than that, it was good. It was good.
Okay, so Gam, tell us about tonight's episode.
Well, episode tonight, like Miss Go Getter said, is entitled Fatherless. And like she also said that my brother, his name is Juan, however we call him Juan, so that's what you'll know him by tonight. But before I even say what our topic is about, he is a guest, so therefore he needs to introduce himself to our viewers and listeners of Wait a Gam Minute podcast.
Well, basically, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Juan Gambrell. Pretty much, I'm from Suffolk, born and raised. I'm married. I have 2 children. I'm in management at Huntington Ingalls. Other than that, that's pretty much that's me.
And he's a fatherless man now.
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
That too.
But and he is my baby brother. We are 18 months apart, so therefore he has to listen to me. So and even down to tonight. But anyway, this topic is very near and dear to us because we did grow up without our father. Although our father is not deceased, he is living. And just to let you guys know, prior to this is not a bashing session at all. This is just us getting things off of our chest. And what people fail to realize is that when you are attached to somebody in type of relationship, you're part of their story, whether you like it or not. So I did reach out to him to ask him if he wanted to be a part, and he said that he'll watch. So hopefully he will watch, and God will move some things, and hopefully he will be able to join in and engage with us tonight. So the first thing I want to say is that I understand that parents don't have instructions. It's not a manual. It's not a little black book on how to parent. So I just realized even out to a couple of days ago when I was talking to my brother on the phone about it, that I still feel some type of way. Like I think I've harbored some feelings and that I have suppressed over the years, to whereas the other day it kind of broke me down. I'm like, whoa, this is coming from. But nevertheless, Juan, what was one of your, well, first of all, how did you grow up?
Well, pretty much, I was raised by my mother and my grandmother. Of course, you know that you was there too. So basically, a lot of things that I learned, that most of my values are from my grandmother, and those still hold true to today. As far as my father, maybe I could remember. I think about 12 years old. I spent 1 year with him in New Jersey.
Right.
So I did give that time, but other than that, it's pretty much learning from different family members, just seeing how those male figures interacted and different friends of mine, fathers, things like that. So pretty
Hmm.
much, I grew up, you know, raised by women, pretty much.
Right, right. And although we did grow up in the house together, which a lot of siblings do, everybody's everybody's reality is different. Some things that he may have thought about, or that resonates with him, it may not do the same thing for me. So everyone still needs to respect, what everyone's reality was or is. Um, I remember growing up. Well, first of all, my mom was a teenage mother, so therefore she was young. My father was a couple of years older than her, right? So maybe that's why he wasn't there early on. I don't know. But I remember we had to been at least less than a preteen. And I don't know if you remember one, but he came and picked us up for a we went to Norfolk Zoo. He had a little small two white seater car. You remember that?
The Datsun, a 240, I think a little Datsun 240, something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
So you were in the passenger side. Of course, he was in the driver's seat, and I sat on a little hump. I remember that day. We went to Norfolk Zoo now, mind you. It wasn't Paris or Jamaica or somewhere like that. It was the Norfolk Zoo. But I vividly remember that day, and it plays back in my head a lot. And I often wonder, like, what will relationship be like with him? Like, why wasn't, this is my mind, and why wasn't we good enough? What happened to what happened in order for him not to be there?
Um, well, I don't know, but I think well, me and him had this conversation maybe a couple of years ago because maybe about 5 years ago because it was time for me to let that chapter of my life go. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you got to go to forgive. So in order for me to have that growth. So when I asked him that question, he just he told me, he said, man, you understand when you get kids, and that's basically what the answer was. But then I just responded back, nah, that'll never be me.
Right.
Because I'm never gonna let my kids feel that pain that I felt growing up. So basically, he didn't have an answer for that. I mean, so I really don't know.
Right. It's crazy you said that, because my conversation with him was that it was pretty much the same thing, and he told me that you know his father wasn't there for him either. So, and he didn't know how to be a father, and I understood that to a certain extent. But I'm like, if you know what you experienced as a child, why wouldn't you try to go above and beyond so that yours won't experience that?
Well, true. But I think we all, whether it's parenting or just living life, somebody has to break that cycle.
Right.
Within the family. So me, I could have chose that path too, because I have a father, but I just knew that that would never be me and my children. So I
Right.
mean, that's not an excuse either. I mean, that's just more of a cop out or a crutch per se.
Right. So now that you are a father, right? What made you be the father that you are versus, the father that you grew up with or didn't grow up with?
Basically everything that I felt that I didn't have, that one individual I can confide in to teach me basically how to change oil, change a tire, those simple things that I didn't get till I got grown.
Mm-hmm.
So I always knew that if I were ever blessed to have children, then those things, the small things, I was going to remember, not the monetary things and all those, just those simple things that time you put in with your children that was always going to be valuable.
Right. So you chose to be different then. You chose to do opposite because of what you experienced. So that's why you're the father that you are today, because of
Yeah, because basically because of my upbringing.
you actually a dad, rather.
Yeah,
You're a dad, because the dad makes conscious decisions to love and be there for their kids, where the father is totally opposite. And I get it. People say, with unconditional love, people want unconditional love. Yes, but look at that word. Condition is in there. So that means that but I just look at it like this too. Like, I'm going on 45. Whatever happened in the past, it happened, right? So there's nothing that you can say or do to change anything or rectify anything. It's just, what can we do here on out? What type of relationship can we build? Because I even though I'm about to be 45, I still desire that relationship. Even though I'm about to be 45, I still desire us having, a conversation. No, I shouldn't feel like I have to pick up the phone and call you. Not holding anything over his head, but I'm just saying, like, why you can't fight for me now?
Yeah, well, we'd had those conversations too because we periodically we know we'll chat inbox through Messenger on Facebook. Um, and then I had given my father many opportunities to try to be a part of my family. And I even down with my children, but I just don't play with my children. So I didn't give him opportunities to spend time with his grandchildren to get to know
Right.
them. Because me and him can only be friends now. I mean, if that is possible. But do I desire that relationship? Sometimes no. Because if it's not gonna be genuine and you're not gonna be in and out, then there's no need. We need to keep it the way it is.
Right. And I think that's where you and I differ, because even if I think back years ago when he and I did have some type of relationship, I always tried to get you guys to have a relationship. And you was like, nope, you know, um, but yeah, I still have, it's still like that little girl in me. Like I was telling them prior to the episode, I remember, because people know I do photography, being at weddings and seeing how the young ladies, whether the father was in their life or not, they dance, they walk with their child down the aisle, they dance with their father, with their kid, and just to see how the the look in their eyes. And you can see some of them, you can see where he wasn't there, but you can see the little girl in her when he was there. And all I was like, dang, like, why I never experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, we do differ on that because you have your own feelings, and I have mine.
Right.
But I just feel like I can't force nothing on anybody,
Right.
So if you want to be a part of my life, you do. But if you don't, I know the sacrifice that I make every day for my children, both of my boys, and working all these hours, put them in sports. I mean, make sure they got something to eat. All these things,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm doing that for myself and you mean to tell me you way older than I am that you can't just pick up the phone every now and then and say, hey, son, how you doing? Something simple. I don't ask you for anything financially. I don't ask any of that.
Right.
So I'm I'm a man now too. So I'm not gonna make excuses for you. Either you're gonna be a part of it or you're not. Like I say, I don't not say I don't desire that relationship, but I'm not going to keep going back and forth trying to contact you. What's going on? Or are you coming down to Virginia? There's always an
Right.
excuse and things of that nature. So I'm not going to keep putting forth that effort. I'm just not. But hey,
Right. And that's definitely where you and I differ. And even thinking about it, like really hard thinking about it, sometimes I wonder, first of all, it's like I hear people say that, a parent automatically loves and automatically connects with the child. I don't think so. And I can only speak from experience and from my point of view, because I'm like, if you have somebody, especially like now, I can get back there. Okay, cool. Now your kids are grown. You have two grandkids. And it's like you still won't put forth the effort. Although I hear you when you're saying that, he should call or whatever. And I'm thinking about it like the little girl me thinking about it, well, why would we expect him to call? It's something new to him. He's not accustomed to calling. So it's easy for him to go without calling us. But then on the adult side of me is like, no, dude, like you need to call, you need to pick up the phone, you need to reach out. And to even see if we're mad, to see that even if we're upset, to see even if we're gonna answer or not. So it's like I battle with myself a lot of times back and forth.
yeah, well,
It's like,
I get you saying, but it's like okay, like you say, he's used to it. That's just his pattern of who he is. Okay, I get that, but and that's why I say I'm not judging the past,
right,
but we're in the present now. He understand that we have a new generation of Collins slash Gambrell, and
right,
I have two sons, two kings that I'm raising. So with that being said, if he don't even try to have a relationship with his grandchildren to break that, why should I keep doing that? I can't. I'm saying that's why we differ because I'm not going in the past. I'm going to the present. He
Correct.
has an opportunity to make that change himself. But people change come from within, from oneself. I can't do that for him. And he's very religious. Everything he put on Facebook. So if you're a man of God and God is your heart, you got to lead by example. So
Right.
so show me you are the light. I'm not gonna keep doing that. So I'm gonna separate my boys from that. If you're gonna be the grandfather in their life, then I will allow you. If not, then I'm gonna protect their peace.
Right.
That's my job.
Absolutely. And I applaud you for being the father that you are, because like I said, even though we didn't have our father, we still had our stepdad, which is so crazy because I can tell you when our sisters, well, he's our ex stepdad now. But I can tell you when his birthday is, but I can't tell you when our father's birthday is.
Yeah.
That that's crazy. That's ludicrous to me. And what's also ludicrous, it's crazy, is that sometimes I wonder where I get some of my characteristics from. Like, who do I act like? I can't even tell you how this guy, how he acts.
Me, and most people say I'm like my sister's father. Like
Like,
I got
and
a lot of
that
I got a lot
that
of
you
his
are.
ways of
That you are.
how I act and things of that nature. So it's kind of funny. I'm more closer to him in a certain way than my own father. Even though me and him don't talk as much as we used to, but when we do link up, it's just like just all good.
Hmm.
Whether we talking about suits or church or just life in general, things
Right.
like that. So I do have a more relationship with him than my father per se, my biological father.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just felt like this topic was very befitting because one, it allows me, I don't know for you, but it allows me to express, how I feel and who I am as a person, as well as I'm sure people who are listening or looking now and will listen and look, that they will be able to relate, because this is a story that's actually common. Like it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And also, I don't know if he said it to you. I remember a couple of months ago he said that he's ready to have that conversation. I don't know if he told you. I don't even know if I told you. And I told him, I was like, okay, but yet we haven't had the conversation. I guess it's just one of those things. But do you remember? Not remember. Okay, actually, it's three of us, right? It's my brother, myself, and then we have a younger sister. She should be probably about 21 or something like that now. But he doesn't have a relationship with her either. But he's helping raise another young lady. It's fortunate for her because she get to experience something that one, she never has had, and neither have I. But it's unfortunate for us because, well, for me, because he told me that he was trying to right his wrongs with her that he did to us for her. And I thought that was so inappropriate because one, you can't do that. To me, it would be reaching out, extending in a relationship, you have a relationship with us, and also one with my nephews. But yet you kick it to me and tell me that what you didn't do for us, you're gonna do and you're doing for her.
Well, you know, to me, that's a good way to start to break that cycle, for himself. But I still,
Huh?
well, what I'm saying it is that she's a part of his life, but you still have a relationship with your biological children
Right.
also. So I'm not
Absolutely.
against it because there's a lot of children out here that don't have their father in their life. So
Right.
I applaud them for that.
Right.
But I'm like, I look at the whole thing a different way. It's like, life too short, now, and he's getting older, and you would think that if I'm getting that up in age, I would want my children to be around because I may need them one day to actually take care of me. So if he's not, so you just look at it like, hey, this guy not thinking about those things. He living life day by day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I keep going back to the same thing. I can't want more if you don't even want it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how because me personally, a lot of brothers out here, I don't even see how a lot of brothers out here just be living their life and have children. They don't even know if they have anything to eat. They got any shoes and their clothes. But that's just how the cycle is, and it has to be broken. But it has to begin with that one
The
individual,
individual, right.
and
Right.
they got to be tired of being tired.
And whether we agree or whoever accepts the apology or whatever, not it's still like you're exactly correct. It starts with them.
It has to. Any change,
Right.
I mean, it's just part
Right.
of it.
Yeah, it
So we have a question. And the question reads, do you guys, either one of you, have any memory of your father? If so, what memory do you have?
Memory. Oh wow. Well, the only memory I can say that that's kind of comical now, because I didn't look at it back then. Like I said, I went to live with him for 1 year. I think I was in sixth grade. Not in the fifth grade because I went to Peshawn Elementary in Newark, New Jersey. I still remember that.
right.
I still remember the house, 413 Jolliffe Avenue. I remember
Yeah,
that.
I do too.
And he took me school shopping, and you know, and that's the first time he ever, I think, tried to give me a beating. Chastised me because I didn't want to wear dress slacks and hard bottoms to
Yeah,
school.
that was crazy. Yeah,
So that's one of
that's
the memories
true.
that I had, that because he was a guy that he still is, still a guy that liked to dress. So he always like slacks and a shirt. And at that time, I'm young, I sneakers and use some jeans, but nah, he took me to the little store, and everything he bought me for that school year, was button down and slacks and black hard bottom.
Now I do remember that. I remember New Jersey as well, and of course it was fast living compared to living in Suffolk or whatever. But I do remember that, and I do remember there you went to school. I'm talking about 3, 4, 5 feet of snow. Like you were still going to school, whereas here it was different. But I remember that, and then of course I remember the one about us going to Norfolk Zoo. But pretty much other than that, I really don't have any memories.
Nah, that's the only time I have ever spent extended amount of time with him. Other than that,
Oh, I
um,
remember. I was telling him. I remember he called. He came here first. Believe somebody had died or something, and he needed a ride from the bus station. And no, I actually took him to the bus station, and we rode all the way there. We probably talked a minute or two, maybe.
yeah,
That's pretty much it. I really don't have any other memories besides going to funerals and just feeling like like I don't even know this guy.
yeah, true. 'Cause, I think the last time I seen him was at my aunt Carmen's funeral, and he had rode with some of my cousins to the graveside. So me and him, of course he was going around, yeah, this my son, this my son, this my son, all this. So I obliged him. I went along, and
Well, you are his son.
what true, but what I'm saying is, you can do that in front of people,
Right, right.
but I'm talking behind the scenes. Don't walk around and say this is my son, this is my son. Yeah, I'm your son now. Yeah, that in front of. But anyway, so we was going to the repast, and so he's walking with me at first, and I'm thinking, he gonna ride with me so we get a chance to talk a little bit, because that was the thing. Prior to him coming down, we was gonna rap a little bit, and so then one of my cousins ended up calling him, and say, hey Bear, that's the nickname. He's like, oh, you gonna rap out with us? He's like, oh yeah. He's the one. You come to the repad? I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come. So part of me, I wasn't gonna go, but I said, I'm gonna go. I think I sat there maybe like 35 minutes, something like that. He hadn't showed. Like, you know what? I'm gone, cause what played in my mind was, you hadn't seen me in all this time. I'm driving anyway. You could ride with me. I could have took you back, to my house to change clothes, whatever you needed to do, and then we could spend that time, things like that. So I was like, wait, was that important? And I didn't hear from him again to the day he was leaving.
So Juan, how did that make you feel when he chose to ride with his nieces or nephews or his cousins versus you?
It just showed me for who he is. I'm always gonna be putting the back burner. That he really doesn't. There is no relationship, and he basically showed me that, because if I was the son that he's prouding around to everybody, that's my son, he would want to be in my company. Just, hey man, what's going on? You catch up a little bit. So other things was more important than I. So I was cool with that. After the fact though. So I just left.
Do you either one of you, do you feel as though maybe since he haven't been around us so long that maybe he's ashamed?
Nah, I really can't say that, because like I say, he's uh, a religious guy, and much as he read and the knowledge that he has, I don't believe he has any shame. I mean, I think that he's been doing it so long, just part of his normal routine. So
Absolutely.
it just like he's numb to it because it's just him. And I don't think he may not see anything wrong with it. Probably, in his from his point of view.
So at any point, do you feel either one of you feel at any point he might have tried to get back in your life, but maybe don't know how? So he want you guys to lead the connection.
Um,
Y'all
pro-
take the lead on it.
Probably back in the day, I would say that because he was dealing with some things in his personal life. I don't want to put that too much out there. So I could see when he was in his mess. Yeah, I could understand that. But I didn't try. Well, I didn't try that in 2010 when I was working in Mississippi with my company. He said he was coming down. He was coming down. Then he came down one time and seen DJ, my oldest, play baseball, and I remember that, and I enjoyed that. He always would hit me up every now and then. Hey man, you change to a switch hitter. Just tell me stuff like that. I done tried on numerous occasions to do those type of things, and I'm just to a point now. Why? Because for what? Because you can't keep getting your hopes up for a relationship with someone that really doesn't want it. Once again, it just and hopefully before God takes me or take him, then that we can have some type of relationship. I don't know what the future may hold, but at this point, I'm open to it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna keep reaching out. I'm not keep doing that.
Oh, okay. What you think, Gam?
What was your question again? I was somewhere else.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Where were you? What were you thinking about?
What was your question though?
The question was, well, my question was basically, do you think maybe he felt ashamed, or maybe he want one of you to take the lead in, reconnecting?
I honestly can't answer that question. I can't answer for him. I just can only express an answer for me.
Right.
Um but I don't, far as taking the lead, that I have yeah, I could say probably. But I know that he know us well enough to know that one, we will raise well, and that we're just not gonna just turn him off. So if he were to pick up the phone and call, or if he was to text or whatever, then that'll be just that. We're not gonna be disrespectful or anything like that. So but no, other than that, as far as the shame part, no. I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that now that I sit here, it's like I have no words because I really feel some type of way. And I don't, like I said before, I don't know if I bottled them up, or just, when I feel some type of way about anything, or I just put them aside and go about my day and do what I got to do. And to talk about it tonight, it has really made me feel some type of way. No, I don't hate them. I don't hate anybody. Do I dislike some of the things that took place? Yes. Do I think that things could be better? Yes. Because one, I'm a forgiving person, and I just don't believe that no matter the circumstances or situation, is always a chance to try to get it right. I just feel that way. And I was asked a question um before we started. If something were to, God forbid, if something were to happen to him and he were to need me to take care of him, would I do it? I don't know. Far as me doing it, I don't know. And I love him with everything in me. But would I um pay for somebody to do something for him? Yes. Without a shot of a doubt. What about you? If that came to a point where you had to do help to help him, far as him being sick, or just taking care of him.
Um, well, I answered it in two parts. But far as taking care of him, I already pre-plan some things, in case something would happen to him.
Right.
Because God forbid, when if God called him home before us, I know it would be our responsibility to put him away. That's one thing I already taken care of that part, regardless of our relationship. But far as taking care of him, it's still my father. I'm not going to tell you that I would take on that daily task myself per se, but would I commit to some financial setup or happen? Yeah, I probably would do that because it's still my father. At the end of the day,
Right.
it's still my blood. But as far as me, I don't think that I'm gonna do all of that. But I will make. I wouldn't see him out or nothing like that.
Right. Yeah. And definitely, and and the Bible speaks of it about honoring thy mother and father. And I just think honoring people, period, just being having some type of wanting to do, regardless if you really want to do or not, because that's the right thing to do. So you put your personal feelings aside and you do what needs to be done. But again, I really don't know. One. So how do you feel if you could say something to him? What would you say?
We talked. So I mean, I talked to him. So nothing. I really. I mean, I guess now at 43 years old, and the life I done live, the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of my life. I'm at peace with who I am.
Right.
Like I said, I have no regrets. Everything I've been through made me the man I am today. So, uh, and that's why I live through my children. That's all that matters to me. Is my children. So
Right.
I just know that I just hope. My only thing that's I have nothing versus my father too much, but I just hope that my children be able to say one day that I played an intricate part in their life of making them the man that they are. That's all that
Right.
really matters to me. My father, you know, that's between him and God. I mean,
Right.
I can't, I'm not gonna. And then one thing I think my my pastor, Pastor Boone, we had a lot of conversation about that, and that helped me get over because I was feeling real bad about this situation for many years. And then probably the last maybe 5 6 years ago, I finally just had a conversation with him and I forgave him. So
Mhm.
from that point on, I really had nothing in my heart to really stop my growth from there because I was dealing with it in some similar ways as but
Right.
now I mean I it doesn't bother me as much anymore because I done tried and tried and I forgave him and and that's all that matters now. So I really have nothing uh negative to say to him if he was here right now. But the only thing I would say ending on that note is hey man, if you want to have a relationship, I'm here. So that's just what it is.
Okay, so do either of you know whether or not he had a relationship with his father?
I know he told me that his father really wasn't there. He did have some type of relationship, but no, it wasn't from my understanding.
Yeah, well, my granny used to call him Bunk.
Yeah.
When he moved back here, living in Saratoga, I used to go down there to see him every day. We used to talk
Right.
all the time because he was in New York back and forth. But he was when he was coming home, so I got to know him. But it still was the same way that they didn't really have that type relationship either. So I can't say that I ever known them to really be close. Nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
I know. I always thought that, dealing with when guys had babies by a young lady, I've always looked at it as that side of the family, but the guy never really dealt with the kids unless they were actually in a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. You see a lot of that. I think, and that's one cycle I'm glad that I broke too, because most relationships, the mother of the children, mothers they always close. That grandmother, but the
Mhm.
father's grandmother, it seemed always a little gap in there for some reason,
Right.
especially when they are not together. So, but I made sure that my mother and them in my son life every day. So they
Very
know
much
who
so.
They know who grandmother is, grandfather, like
Right.
that. So we as men got to do our part too. I mean, of course, our mother, can reach out, but I think that's something that we got to do is make sure that our children have a relationship with our mother and father also, instead of always being the usual, the mother side of the family more closer. You got to break that and bring that unit together. So I think that's a major issue.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is. But I don't know. The more I think about it, is it's like I guess, as a child you come up with so many excuses or so many ways. So now I'm looking at it as coping, because I'm frustrated. But I can say this. I think because he wasn't there, I am who I am today. Like I don't take no mess from nobody, no matter the relationship or whatever. I always have to have a sense of control. And I attribute that to the non-relationship that we had. Like I really do. And like I'm like the door not swinging back and forth. It's like you here, okay, you here, let's do what we can do, and then that's it. We're not coming back and forth. And I think oftentimes I think because he wasn't there. Now would my life be different if he was? I don't know. I don't know because it's always been without. So and I know that we haven't grown up with everything, but I know that there have been some trying times. But I think that the people who did raise us, I think that's because they did raise us and the things that we went through made us who we are. And I wonder oftentimes do he look at us and be like, dang, like my kids, they okay. Like they really doing they could be doing other stuff. They're not perfect, but they're okay. And I often wonder, like, do you think about it? I'm not even talking about the past. I'm talking about looking at us now, because now he only see us. It's fortunate because he see us through social media. So every now and again, we get a like or something like that or whatever. But do you really sit and think like, dang, like they look good, they look healthy, they my kids and they good because he could have broke what happened, what because he wasn't there, it could have broke us. It really could have broken us. But because of who we were around and what we're made up of, we're actually good. And when I sit and think about how a lot of other people talk about their stories and stuff, it just make me I'm grateful for what I did, for what we did go through. Like I can honestly say I am grateful because it could have been another way. It could have been another way because the truth be told, we are from a addictive behavior family. So we could have, chose to go do other things, but by the grace of God, we didn't. So that's a plus. I just hopefully when he listens to this and it's really a cry out for him. Like the more I think about it, it pisses me off that I had to come on a platform to express how I feel. But I'm fortunate because I have the ability to do that and not feel no type of shame or guilt or any type of way as far as that is concerned. But I just felt like we are adults. So that means that it's no more kid stuff. So I mean that we do adulting things.
Yep.
So Juan, I know Juan stated that he has made head contact, I should say, with your father, and he has expressed himself. So Gam, have you made contact with him and expressed yourself?
I I have I have spoken with him. Um, you know, I've actually had a relationship with him more than my brother, but I believe I have told him some things, but have we ever sat down and just had a actual powwow, no,
So
we
you,
haven't.
so you and him did at one point try to form a relationship. So what happened? How did it stop?
I really can't remember. I want to say it was some. It wasn't anything didn't transpire. Like it was just a thing of life. I'm going. I'm doing what I got to do, and I believe he's going doing what he has to do, and that was just it.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't anything that actually kicked off like that. But I just hope that at some point we can build something because that's what he's at this point. It's about building, and it has to be on all corners, everybody. And I'm at a point where I don't know about my brother, but I'm at a point where we don't even have to. You don't even have to give me a whole bunch of why you didn't. It's a thing of I'm sorry, I wasn't there. I'm sorry, and then we pick up the pieces and we continue to build because this foundation that we have, he didn't build it, but that doesn't mean that we can't add on to it. People remodel all the time,
mhm.
so we can do that. But yeah, so I just I didn't realize I was gonna be this overwhelmed, but I guess it's a release, and it's a release that I actually need, and it was time. So I just hope that I hope that we can get it together. One, being that you have kids, and I know you said that you try to protect them from that, but would you allow him to build if he did what he said he was going to do and followed up with it? Would you allow him to be part of their life?
DJ 15, Josiah 6. He been saying for the last 15 years. Every summer he gonna get his license, get him a car, and come down here.
Right.
And early on, yeah, that was an option. Now I'm kind of iffy with that because I love my children, and I'm not gonna let nobody just come in and walk in out of their lives. If you're gonna be a genuine part of their life, I'm okay with that. But right now, he had to do a whole lot of work for that even to happen for me. I'm just not gonna do that just because you're my father. No, I'm not gonna let them maybe get attached to you for a moment. Then you just decide, oh no, I'm gone. No, 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 we're not gonna do that. So, no, no, that's my job
Right.
to protect them.
So do either you need him to actually say, I'm sorry, and so you can move on? Or have he ever even apologized,
Eh,
before?
No, he don't have to do that for me because, like I said, maybe 5 years ago we had that conversation, and I forgave him myself. I wasn't looking for him to tell me that, hey, I'm sorry, or just tell me anything. I just said, look, we had a conversation, and we was on the phone, and we talked because back then when I was more into church at that time, we used to talk about religious things all the time. So we talked on the phone, and I just let him know, that, man, I forgive you, and I needed that for myself because, like I said, prior to that conversation, I harbored a lot of ill will towards him, and because I was going back some decisions that I made, in my coming up that maybe I wouldn't have made, but hey, those decisions made me who I am, so I don't regret anything though. But I forgave him then, so we can move on. I've been trying to move on, but like I said, once again, you can't make nobody want it. That's something they want for themselves. That's what we keep going back to. So my thing with this whole uh podcast today is that you fathers out there that's not in your children's life.
Right.
I, my thing that I'm advocating that you do, that hopefully that you would do, is be a part. Pick up the phone tonight. Check on your children. And form that relationship. That's the only thing that I would even ask out of this podcast. If you're not in your children's life, no matter what has happened or transpired, whether it's you, them, you grown, old, don't even matter. Reach out to your children. Tell them you love them. That's what I get from this. Father, me and my father. If we get a bond, we do. If we don't, we don't. 'Cause I know other men and women who's watching this podcast that's not in their children's lives for whatever the reason may be. Reach out to your children and love on them.
So what about you, Gam? Would you want an apology?
Before the podcast, honestly, no, I never really thought about just going about my life until I had those moments. But as of today, yes, yes, very much so. Not saying that my life won't go on. I'm just saying about to in order for us to build a relationship because one we have to establish something like Juan was even saying down to the boys like you just ain't gonna just come up you know but yes very much so.
So you would be able to move on if he apologized. You would be able to move
Yes,
on.
I'm a
Okay.
forgiving person anyway. That's just one of my flaws. I look at it sometimes. Sometimes it's like when you operate with your heart a lot, your movements are different, but yet they're heavy. So, yes, definitely, we would have to apologize, and that's all I would need. I would need no explanation about anything else because, and to piggyback all even off what Juan said about far as the episode for tonight, definitely reach out to your kids. Now, I get it if it's something there, whereas maybe you and your child's mother, just can't see eye to eye, and you can reach out to the kids because of the age or something like that. But when they become of age, have that conversation with them. It's a hard conversation, but have that conversation with them, build that relationship. And it's going to take work, but it's worth it in the end because, like people say, you only get one mother, you only get one father. It ain't 4 or 5. You only get one, it's only 145, fifth birthday, only 144th. It's one of everything. So it's like when you know better, you actually do better. And it's like time out for a whole bunch of excuses. It's time out, it's time for to put in that work. And it's work that needs to be done. And it can't be done by one person. So I don't, again, I don't hold no ill will, anything like that. I believe if he say he apologized or he's sorry, I probably be skipping through the hall because it would take me it would it would just put me in a place where I honestly probably would feel secure. I probably would feel like
Accepted.
yeah. Yeah, I probably would. And sometimes I look in the mirror, I'm like, do I look like him? Like, what is going on? Like, but it's just so many thoughts in my head, but my heart is still the same, as if, I was a little girl waiting for him to come, and I don't really remember waiting on him to come, but just to give you a visual of where I'm at with it. But um he isn't a bad man. Like I don't believe he's a bad man. He just made some poor choices. But because regardless you make poor choices or not, doesn't mean that it's the end. The end is when you know and you don't do anything to try to rectify anything. Like that's some that's some bull crap to me. But I don't know. I asked Juan the question, what would I say to him? I probably wouldn't say anything. I just probably look because I think about it. It's like Juan was talking about. We was at my aunt's funeral, and I had shades on, but the whole time I was looking at him. I was sitting over there at somebody's graveside, but I was looking at him to see if he was looking at us. And I never said anything. And I was like, this dude's here talking, going on about his day, as if we just Joe Blow and Miss Silly out there at a funeral. And I remember him telling me a couple of weeks ago, well, a couple of months ago when he was sick or whatever. And he said, well, thank you for calling me, wishing me well or whatever, whatever. And I said, well, thank you for calling me, letting me know that you were ill. I had to find out through somebody else. And he stated to me that he was private. He was a very private person. He don't let anybody know anything. And I said, okay. That's where I get that from because I'm very private. I don't want everybody all in my business. So I was like, okay. So I'm looking at it as I heard what he said. He was a little upset that I didn't reach out to him. But now I can connect the dots a little as to I'm private. So I get that from him. And I look at my brother and I'm like, his fingers look like him. my nephew fingers look like, just like little small stuff that some people may think is, I don't know what you think, but it was definitely needed. Like I feel much better.
Okay, I have one more question. What if you have the power to feel happy without about the situation without an apology? Forgiveness and moving forward is for us. That's with or without an apology. You think you would be able to move on without the apology
Move
and
on
feel
without
happy?
I'm very much happy. The way I feel has nothing to do with
Happy about the situation.
about the situation. I'm content with the situation. Put it that way. I'm content with it. I'm dealing with it. I dealt with it. But far as um that, no, he would have no. You gonna do something. Yeah, he would have to say he's sorry. And if not, then we can be cordial. We can't be friends. We can be cordial because I don't believe in being friends with your parents. But no, yeah, you got to do something, bro. Like that's just what it is. Like no, ain't no coming back just like that.
Okay. So, Gam, I know we're getting close to the end. So, Gam, what have you learned tonight by speaking with your brother about your father? What have you learned?
Um, I learned that he is he's a strong guy. I learned that even though I already knew that why he parent the way that he does, but I can respect where he is and respect, how he feels. We are both individual people. So that's how he feels. He's put it out there and I respect it and I received it.
Okay. Okay. So, Juan, what have you learned tonight about your father or about your sister by speaking with your sister?
Well, with my father, not too much, but father, my sister, I see now that she has that place in her heart that's still yearning for her father's love, and attention. So I didn't know it was that deep. Don't get me wrong. But now I see it, and like I understand where she's coming from because most most young ladies are the the apple of a father's eye. But so those things I get, and I understand, but I just hope that one day she will get to a place where she doesn't need that unnecessarily apology from him, and just have that conversation maybe in the future. Hey, I forgive you, um, and just move on because at the end of the day, you may never get that. So if you're looking for that bond on some kind of on some sort of level, then you may have to let some of your stipulations go to achieve that.
Right.
That's what I see from that, and I just hope that she one day she gets what she's seeking.
Now I want to say this. I I hear what my brother is saying, like, but I'm at a point where if I don't get the relationship, I'm good. I'm great. What I'm saying is this: in order to start a relationship, that has to happen first. Other than that, we good. Get up and go to work, do what I gotta do, won't think about it until I have those moments. And they are few and far between. But other than that, no, I don't. Not at all. Let's go get. You got a question?
Well, no, not a question. It was just a statement. It says at some point we have to move on and realize I am good and able to move on as I have been doing without him or his apology. You both are strong people and y'all have learned from others' mistakes. So basically saying that you both are doing good, from other family members that have basically been there. How do you feel about that?
How do I feel?
Yeah.
You saying about blue?
Yeah, about moving on. Well, I know Juan feels, we know how Juan feels about that, but what about you, Gam? How you feel about that? Moving on with or without his apology, like it was already said
Right.
before, but
That's
you
what
have
that.
already learned from others' mistakes, meaning other family members. So you had a good upbringing, you can say,
Right.
right?
Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm stuck at all. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that I'm not moving forward or back. What I'm saying is, in order for he and I to have a relationship, that's totally different from Travail, Gam. Just saying in general, to have a relationship with him
Hmm.
as my father.
Right.
Yes, I would need that. Very much so. Ain't no changing that. Mm-mm.
Yeah, well,
Not at all. But I'm gonna move forward and be good with anything and everything else. But it's not hindering anything else. Black Guru says, how do they feel after this show? Speaking on their father.
oh, how do I feel?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, I feel wonderful. I mean, because I didn't come up here and bash him or
Right.
Right.
disrespect him. I just told you how I felt and what my life was like. So wonderful, awesome. Matter of fact, I'm blessed, man. So
Yeah.
this right here, uh, my life is what it is. Everything I experienced it made me who I am. So
Absolutely.
I'm grateful for everybody that played a part of my life. So father or not, I can say I made it. I can't say that. I still got
I
still
made
got a
it.
ways to go, but
Right.
out of circumstances of my life, those are who really know me.
Right.
I, you know, I survived, so I'm good.
That's 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 great. That's great. I think we well, I don't think I know we both are good. Like we actually are good. So and it was a good release for me. I didn't like I said before, I didn't think all of this, but it was needed and you know, it's out there. Um but one before we wrap up, we ask all of our even though you are a guest or not a guest, because you've been on a couple of times now. So you like a regular a little bit. um what was your experience like being on Way to Get a Minute?
I mean, it was awesome. This is my I think third time something like that, but now it's just natural now, like I'm
Oh,
one of y'all
okay.
podcasts,
Okay.
members or something like that. No, it was awesome. It gives you the opportunity to be your true self and just whatever the topic may be, just to give you a platform to just let other people know where you're coming from, whatever it may be. So I enjoyed it
All
as
right.
usual.
Well, great. I definitely appreciate you coming through on the clutch, even though we planned this like over a month or so ago. But it was looking kinda slim there at first. But I appreciate you and I want to let you know publicly that I'm proud of you, that I love you, and I wish nothing but the best for you and your family. And keep pushing because I know it may look easy to people. People see you, and they see the kids and they see the tangible things that you have, but they don't know the stress level. They don't know um, what it takes for you to get up and go to work every night. So I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I love you more. We came up the hard way, but at the end of the day, I want you to continue to follow your dream, your passion. No matter what the naysayers say, you just keep striving. You keep striving, no matter what. And what God has for you, nobody can stand in the way of that or take it from you. So I love you, and I always got your back.
I appreciate it. Miss Golden, you got anything to say before we wrap up?
Well, no, I think you guys pretty much have tears in everybody's eyes now.
Well, we're going to end it with our theme song. We're going to get on out of here, and we want you guys to share this episode as well as all the other episodes. And we look forward to seeing you guys, God's willing, next Tuesday.
Let's go. Yo, listen up, everybody. Have you heard the news? Got a brand new show that's breaking all the
now we on the move.
From local to global, cause we got something to prove. We came from the bottom, now we at the tippy top to hold it down for our people,
Cause we all we got.
It's a cold, cold world, but we keeping it hot. With our future on the line,
Ain't no time to stop.
All work over here, still
Still
we
we having fun.
Yeah, we say it like it is.
Ain't no holding our tongue. Go get us on the team. Yeah, we getting it done. And shout out to Terrell. Yeah, you number one.
It started with a dream that
Turned into a vision.
The educated new generations
Is our mission.
Ears to the streets, yeah, we
Cause they
steady
got politic, and if you ain't about to change, mind your business.
Now wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. Wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. Now wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. We top pics like we all up on the gram with it. Now wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. Now wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. Now wait a Gam in it, wavy hands with it. We top pics like we all up on the gram with it.
Good night.